here's my thing with cycling. I never claimed to be the fastest.
Yeah.
I just claim to be the flyest. Like,
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Other Side Cycling Podcast, hosted by Lucy Manol and myself, Patrick James Roldan. Hello, Lucy.
Hello, Patrick.
How's it going?
It's good. It's good.
Sweet.
Can't complain.
Great. Well, today on the Other Side Cycling Podcast, we're joined right here by this fellow, Martise Jackson Carter.
what's going on, guys?
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Doing good. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you too, man. I feel like you and I have had conversations in the past about how you're usually on the other side of the production of a podcast. So, I mean, for the viewers, for the listeners, give us a little background about you. I mean, for the people who are watching, they'll see you're wearing some Uninterrupted gear. In a past life, you were working with Uninterrupted?
Yeah. So, I work in talent partnerships. I used to work for Uninterrupted / Spring Hill. It's called now Full Wheel Entertainment. I worked there since its inception, I feel like. I was there for 6 years, helped, build that talent team. Learned everything I need to know about the business as far as working with talent, handling talent, booking talent, making sure, productions run smoothly, everybody feels good about the product being made, things of that sort. And I had great time there. And prior to that, I was interning and working at the LeBron James Family Foundation. That was in 2015 to 2019. So like later college years and the middle of college.
Were you here in LA for that?
No. I was back home in Akron.
Akron, Ohio.
I feel like they just both bled so fast because I graduated in like May 15th. I was in LA June 6th.
Wow.
I started work like July 1st.
Yeah.
So like, it all happened so fast. It felt like I never really like stopped like doing anything. It's like I graduated, was working at the same time, then I went to my next job and I was doing that.
Full tilt.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
For those of you who are familiar with Tees, you are a former athlete, college athlete, collegiate athlete.
Played football a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. I played football for my freshman year, my sophomore year. Then after that, I was like, this is not really for me because like I don't really want to go as hard as everybody else is going, and like I'd rather just hang out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real. I was there in college for the girls and to get an education. Like like I wasn't really like trying to go to the NFL. Like so.
What position did you play?
I played running back, and then my second year I kind of moved to it's called like an athlete, so like a / running back, wide receiver type of deal.
Okay.
Just give me the ball and I would kind of like make plays. But even then, that was fun. But I was kind of like, I'm kind of over this. And at the same time, I really, really want to make some money. So like, I'm not really feeling this.
Football is one of those sports where it's not that easy relative to other sports to go pro and make bank. Because you can go pro in football. I think there's a lot of talent that, that comes up.
Yeah.
Compared to others, because the rosters are like 50 people deep?
Yeah, like 53 man.
53 man roster on most football teams.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a position for people.
Yeah.
But like
people get hurt.
Yeah. There's practice
happen.
squads.
Yeah, coaches get fired. All types of things happen. Like football, anybody who's like made a lot of money in football and has like played for a long time, they are truly like a great football player and like the absolute best at what they do, because like you have to stay healthy. You also have to like win. Like if you don't win, I mean, who really cares? And then that's all contingent on like what type of coach you have, what organization you're at, what are your teammates like, all of those type of things. So football is like it's like, that's what they call it, the ultimate team sport, because like there's 11 people who have to do their job at the same time at the highest level to like succeed. And if one person doesn't, none of it works.
Yeah.
Similar to cycling.
Yeah. As a team sport, yeah, for sure. So you touched a little bit on your background with Spring Hill and Uninterrupted. That's actually how we met back in 2023, right?
Yeah.
Through a homie Sadiq.
Yes.
With his club, Pacific Town Club.
Yeah. Shout out to Sadiq.
Shout out to Sadiq.
It's a cycling club?
It is. So you could tell us a little bit more about Pacific Town Club,
Pacific Town Club. Sadiq runs just like an outdoor, basically, I don't even really know what to call it. It's like an outdoor experience for people that look like us. Like, you know, people where like you and I grow up from, like, you know, no offense, but, you know, like, you know, just people, they don't get to experience the things that we get to experience, you know, being in California, for one. And like just being in a different environment that like not a lot of people like us that look like us get to experience. So he basically packages it together, partners with other brands, and like provides that experience. And kind of like Lucy and I were talking about before we got on camera, like basically providing an experience for people. It doesn't matter like what level of experience you have with that activity you're participating in. The idea is to just come hang out, learn a little bit, meet cool people, and, you know, have an experience. And if nothing else, like you said earlier, like come back wanting more, instead of saying like, I don't really think these people are better than me, or, you know, I don't like it. And, you know, which is, I think is cool, which is cool for the community, because I think everybody should be a part of that.
Yeah. It's exposure to activities that are normally reserved for others.
Exactly.
You know, I think, what was it, 2 weeks ago, y'all went on a fishing adventure?
Yeah, he does.
Deep sea?
Yeah, he does fishing all the time. Like he calls it hooky.
Yeah.
Love
but yeah, he does it like often. Like I'd say maybe twice a quarter. So yeah, if you check out his Instagram,
We'll plug it in the
Yeah, you guys can plug it in his Instagram. Check it out. But yeah, that's how you and I met. Funny enough, how I even ended up there is a crazy story. First time I got a bike, like I was trash. Like I was like awful, because of course the football egotistical self that I am, I'm thinking like it's a bike. I know how to ride a bike. Like how hard can it be? Until I got on to Mescal. I'm like,
what sort of bike did you have at that point? Was it a road bike?
Yeah, I had a road bike. I had a Specialized LS, because I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I at least want to try to do it right, you know? So, and all my friends had, like, Sadiq, I think, had what is it, Cervelo? Had one of those. My homeboy Kenny, he had, like, a nicer carbon Specialized. I'm like, man, I'm going to get, first of all, spending that money for a bike at the time, I'm like, man, what?
And LA is still a decent bike, honestly, especially as like a first bike.
Yeah.
It's still good, and it's still...
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was purple too. It was purple and pink. I was like, oh,
good color.
Right. I'm like,
nice colors.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing about this. And so I did that. I was burnt out. I was like, man, all right, I want to get good at this, but at the time I wasn't really feeling it. Funny enough, my uncle ended up being an investor of Canyon. So he ended up getting me a bike, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get this nice bike, I gotta, like, you know, I have to at least, like, I'm not just gonna get a nice bike and like let it go to waste. So I'm like, all right, now I'm in it.
Yeah,
I done messed around and started having fun. I said, oh man,
that's the beauty.
Now I'm locked in. And then, you know, I started kind of like, you know, getting sort of good. And also what I appreciate about, like, my most valued thing in cycling, I think, is like the fact that, like, nobody's making you like climb 3,500 feet or 4,000 feet. And I appreciate the mental, like, battles you have to, like, you know.
Yeah, you could turn around at any time.
Exactly.
You don't have to keep going.
Once I realized that, I was like hooked. Like I was like instantly like hooked. Like after that first ride, like when I couldn't make it up the hill, I was like, okay, once I can, you know, get over it and, you know, apply myself and all of that, like I enjoy things like that. And I've been riding pretty much every day since.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're on my side of town over here in LA, right? You're towards like Virgil Village.
I'm in East LA. I mean East Hollywood / like Koreatown. I'm like right on the edge.
Cusp.
Off of Melrose and Normandy.
Okay.
People be seeing me around. I be seeing people all the time.
Yeah.
I used to be like, hey man. Hey, I'm still trying to figure out what's the perfect like cycling like etiquette when it comes to like waving at people, because like I know some people are like don't talk to me or wave to me while I'm riding.
Yeah.
I just wave at everyone.
Exactly.
And then people look at you. They're like, "Do I know you?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're cyclists. I'm on a bike. You're on a bike. We're friends now. Hello." And sometimes my friends laugh at me because they're like, you're waving and no one's waving back. I'm like, I don't care. Hopefully that person's, they waved at me, and maybe they were like, who the hell was that? Or maybe they was like, oh, that was nice. You know.
There are times when I end up not waving at people because I just don't know, like, if they're in that space, or I'm in a position where it's like, I'm about to crash if I take my hands off the bars, right?
I mean, yeah, if it's dangerous, don't wave. It's fine. I will
like
forgive you if you don't wave at me. Head nod is fine. Yeah, if you're descending, or, maybe if I'm struggling up a climb and someone's flying by me, I'll kind of move in a way that I'm like, hey, I see you, I acknowledge you, but I think more people should wave, more people should acknowledge other people. And sometimes if I'm in my like normal non-cycling clothes, I might be walking down the street and I'll wave at cyclists and I forget, oh shit, I am not on my bike, but I just see people, or maybe I'm just cruising along the beach bike path and I have my helmet on and maybe I just have a t-shirt and my Lycra shorts or whatever, and I wave at people and they're like, what? I'm like, no, I'm a cyclist. I don't know. There can't be anything bad that comes from waving if it's safe to do so.
Yeah. I mean, we all ride bikes. Anyone who rides a bike, generally speaking, is a cyclist or a bike rider. Right? Do you remember how you learned how to ride a bike in the first place?
I taught myself how to ride a bike.
Yeah?
At what age?
I was like 7.
Okay.
Taught yourself how to ride a bike? How did that go?
Shit. Somebody in my family got me a bike.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was actually, honestly, my first bike. My uncle had got me actually, no, this is what happened. Now it's all coming back to me because I got a good memory. I was back at my my great aunt's house, kind of like sort of at my granny. Everybody in the hood, everybody got a bike. One of the homies, we have, came up on a bike that it wasn't like it was stolen, but it was like one of those old joints. It was like I remember it being red. Like
a little huffy.
Yeah, a little huffy.
Yeah.
It ain't had no training wheels on it. I'm like, well, at least it's my size. So I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. So, I tried to roll it, fell in the grass a couple of times because I always take a risk. I got it fast, actually.
Nice.
I learned how to ride a bike like fast. Like it only took me a couple of times. I ain't gonna say like I just figured it out instantly, but like I understood. Like at 7 years old, I understood the idea of momentum. Yeah. So like I knew that like if I could, I was like on the the part of a driveway, the edge of a driveway where the curve is.
Yep.
Like I kind of put the bike there and started from there.
Yeah.
And like once I could kind of like keep it straight and the street was flat enough that like I could kind of keep the momentum going, kind of learn how to pedal, learn how to steer and all of that.
Nice.
I was like, okay, bet this is easy.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh man, the idea of like learning how to ride a bike on your own, that's scary.
Yeah.
You know if any adults be doing that?
I do know someone we used to work with, actually. They were, I guess, around 30. Obviously, we worked at a cycling company. And we were like, oh, you should get a bike. Like, we can help you find the right one for your needs. You don't have to get a super fancy bike. Any bike is going to be a good bike. We can find the right one for you. And they were like, no, I'm good. That's terrifying. I'm like, no. But I think maybe I underestimate how hard it is for adults if you literally have never ridden a bike, because that is a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's maybe a little bit different, but like I only learned to ski a couple years ago. It's something I never ever did. My family didn't do it when I was growing up. And that was incredibly humbling. And it still is for me, but it's kind of maybe similar to riding a bike in that way. It's just something that you don't, if you're going to take up running, you're like, cool, yeah, I've run for a bus. Let me just do that for a bit longer.
Right.
But riding a bike, this balance, this technique.
There's etiquette.
As well. So, yeah.
Yeah. On the topic of like snow sports, Pacific Town Club did some snow sports stuff this past winter.
Yeah.
Did you join any of those trips?
No, I actually didn't, because man, in the wintertime, it's football on still.
Oh, so yeah.
I'm behind a football screen or at a football game. Like, I'll but they had a great time.
Where's your loyalty with football?
Yeah, I was going to ask
the Browns.
The Browns?
Okay.
Yeah, I know what everybody's going to say when they see this, that, oh my God, he loves the Browns. But hey, at least I'm loyal.
Who's your QB? Burrows?
No. See, that's the thing.
This guy
could be-
clearly does not watch.
I don't watch football like that.
No, I'm hoping it's going to be Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
But, it's the Browns. Every time you think they're going to do the logical decision, they always kind of tend to do the opposite. So
They lucked out with getting him that late.
But we have a couple options. The kid, Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, I think he's a good quarterback. He's a Hawaiian kid. The Hawaiian quarterbacks still like hit or miss. Like some of them tend to be really good. Some of them tend to kind of like fizzle out. But it's hard to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's like one of the hardest jobs like in the world because you have to know what everybody's doing, and you have to like prepare yourself every week to like beat a team that can beat you like so many different ways.
Yeah.
So I think whoever the quarterback is, good luck to you, man. I don't want your job.
Lucy, you're a big fan of football, yeah?
Yeah. I used to watch football even when I lived in England. Went to like one of the London games. I think it was like Rams Cardinals.
Yeah,
maybe.
I love the Rams though.
But like I'm a Rams fan, so when I watched football in England, I got into it because of an ex. And they supported a terrible team. I don't need to name them, but I supported that team because I was like, yeah, sure, that's my team.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, wait, this is a terrible team.
Right.
I don't want to be supporting this team.
Right.
So I moved here, and I was like, cool, I guess the Rams are my team now. And then that was the year they won the Super Bowl, and I was like, cool, looks like I picked the right team. But now I'm loyal, like through thick and thin. They had some bad moments in the last couple years, but I really enjoy watching them. Love going to SoFi. Interesting team because when you go to a game at SoFi, so many of the fans are not Rams fans.
Right.
And I think for many different reasons, LA is a place filled with a lot of people from a lot of different places. So, yeah. Anyway, we don't need to get into that. But go Rams.
Love the Rams. I pretty much go to every Rams and Chargers. Not every, but most home games.
I went to one Chargers game once because my friend got tickets.
Different experience, right?
Yeah, it was weird because I was very curious. Like, they play in the same stadium for people that don't know, but obviously they change all the graphics and everything. And the one thing I really, really, really didn't like was I have a phobia of fireworks and bangs and loud noises. And when they score a touchdown, they fire this cannon.
Yeah, I actually like the cannon, and it's so obnoxiously loud, but it's like crazy.
Your body,
I'm completely lost.
You feel it. It's a terrible experience for me because I hate fireworks. I have this phobia, and it's horrible. It's horrible. I wish I didn't have it. It's like people that are scared of spiders. I can't stand fireworks or gunshots or...
Do they just do it for touchdowns or do they do it for field goals as well?
Touchdowns.
Just touchdowns. Okay. Luckily, the game I went to, they only scored one touchdown and I was very relieved.
Sounds like the Chargers.
But yeah, I'll never say no to going to a football game, but that was an experience. But I much prefer the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm really confused about the LA football landscape because growing up, LA didn't have football teams.
They did.
They
had football teams, but they had if I'm not mistaken, it was the Raiders.
Yep.
I remember them as Oakland, right?
Yes, but before they went to Oakland, they were in LA.
Oh, and now they're Vegas.
Yes.
What a weird...
But the way that the NFL works is they're not like loyal to like cities. It's kind of loyal to like who brings the most money. Yeah. So if, for whatever reason, the Chargers and the Rams stop generating fans and jersey sales,
They're out.
Ain't gonna be no Rams and Chargers in LA no more.
Growing up, the Chargers were in San Diego.
Yeah.
And then the Rams were St. Louis.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But before they were there, they were somewhere else. I think they were, because they were only in St. Louis for a short stint. Like they weren't originally from there, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they were already from somewhere in California.
Interesting.
It's crazy though. I don't think any British.
Yes. Actually, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. Actually, I just to remember, the Rams actually originally, yes, they were in LA and they moved to St. Louis and then they came back because if I'm not mistaken, they were only there for like maybe 12 years.
Okay. And
then they came back.
Okay. Makes sense now.
There you go. You know where I'm from. Football was born.
Yeah.
Yes, American football was. Well, I'm from Akron, Ohio. Canton, Ohio is basically what.
It's the Hall of Fame.
What you would compare Hollywood to Koreatown.
Yeah.
Like it's they're only
They're right there.
miles apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I take football history. I have to be right because I can't be spreading out bad news. So people are gonna be like, "How is this kid from where football was born? He doesn't even know what he's talking about." You know what I mean? So I had to be right.
That's fair. Football is a pretty intense sport. And like, is it still the most like lucrative as far as sponsorships and business deals? Do we know?
I would say maybe in America,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I would say from a business scale, football's up there for sure. And
Basketball
definitely
might
in
have taken
America.
over, right? Like globally.
They're probably. It's just to me. It just depends on how you want to look at it. Because I'd argue that maybe American football makes more money in America because in everywhere else, because football is such a big American sport and Americans love football.
Yeah.
But one would argue that NBA players are more worldly. So
Yeah.
like, just because the United States all love these different players,
Yep.
there's one country who all love one player. So
True.
that's way different.
Yeah,
than,
it's true.
You know what I mean?
Maybe it's still
football player.
Maybe it's still global soccer is still probably the number one sport in the world. Right?
I'd say soccer.
Soccer still takes over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say you're a bigger follower of football than football?
That's a tough question. I'd say right now probably soccer football, but it's tricky. I have a couple of alliances.
Who do you like?
So I follow Angel City, the women's team here in LA. The British soccer team that I grew up watching are called Sunderland. They were kind of terrible for a while, or at least like very average, but in the Premier League when I was growing up. And then I kind of gave up on them a little bit. And
I understand.
like 10 years ago, they got relegated. So they dropped down a league. And then like the next year or the year after, they got relegated again. And when that happens, you get a lot less money, a lot less sponsorship because you're not on TV. You don't have the rights. It's a lot harder to watch games. The stadiums you're playing in are smaller, all of that. And I was just like, you know what? This is just sad. I'm going to spend my time. And I think at that time I was like getting into cycling and stuff. So, but as of last weekend, they're back in the Premier League.
Okay.
It's very exciting. That's my men's British football team. And then I also support Arsenal women's. Sunderland have a women's team as well, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Arsenal are like my women's team.
Nice.
I love international soccer as well. You have the women's Euros coming up next month. Maybe it's July. But anyway, very soon. So yeah, probably slightly more soccer football. But I feel like I'm sucked into American football now. I just love sports in general. And I love like going to a bar or going to someone's house and everyone's invested. And yeah, there are so many rules and niche things and different ways to play and different things to get your head around. But I think that's also a thing that really drew me into cycling, watching cycling racing for the first time, because I mean, in American football, you have to learn the players' names and learn the teams and learn how those things will work together. And that's the way it kind of sucks you in and like you get invested. Right. And I think it's a very similar thing in cycling where you have different roles that different riders play.
Right.
You have sprinters, you have climbers, you have domestiques that don't really win, but they make sure everyone else wins. And then you have the rest of the team around them. And then,
Sports directors, soigneurs.
Right.
And you have to learn. That's that rider. So many different names and so many different teams and sponsors and bikes. And I think that when I started to understand, like these are the tactics, these are the decisions. At first, when I watched cycling, I was like, why don't they just ride their bikes as fast as they can? I'm like, well, now I get it. But yeah, once I got over that, I get it. This is why people like it. And this is why people will spend 4 hours watching people ride their bikes.
Right.
Do you follow the world of professional cycling?
Well, yeah, I'm a dibble and dabble. So here's the thing. As I got into cycling, I watched my first World Tour watch was last year. And it happened randomly. Like, as it started, it was like everything aligned. Like, as it was starting the first stage, I was up. Because, like...
Which tour was it? Was it the Tour de France?
Yeah, the Tour de France.
Okay.
So this was, like, last July. I'm, like, up. And, they do the little preview show or whatever. So I'm like, well, Mario, might as well watch it. So I'm watching the first stage. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And like, I can't remember what TV network it was on the time, but whomever.
Peacock?
Yeah, Peacock, exactly.
So NBC's broadcast.
Yeah, whoever does their show, they do a great job of like, if you are just somebody's first time watching, of explaining like kind of like what's going on, the same as they kind of do in football. And like having watched a lot of football, a lot of basketball, a lot of football, a lot of everything, I kind of was able to follow along with what he was saying.
I like hearing that.
So I was like, oh, okay, this all makes sense, and I can kind of like follow along. And what also helped is that documentary Unchained.
The Total Friends Netflix
Those
one.
are really good.
Yeah.
I'm so sad that this last one coming up is the last one.
Yeah.
But that also helped a lot. And I was like, man, they gotta go through all this, boy. No way. Because I remember the first one I seen. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the first season, I don't know who it was, so I don't want to misspeak their name, but somebody had a crazy crash. I don't think they passed away or anything, thank God, but like they were like recovering from it. And I think they might have tore their collarbone. I was like, man, you tore your collarbone on a bike? Like, I'm cool. I'm on the bike to avoid things like that. Like I'm good.
Just try to find a zen.
Yeah, like I don't want to be doing anything much where people can touch me. Like I'm kinda,
no more contact. No more contact on the sport.
I don't really want to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll hoop every now and again, but like I broke my ankle last year, so like I don't really, I hoop, if I can, but like unless it's organized ball, I'm cool.
Yeah, pickup's a little dubious.
Yeah, like I'm cool, man, because everybody don't know how to play ball at the same type of etiquette, kind of like in cycling.
My partner was a big soccer player, and played pretty high level in like high school. Stopped in college because of injuries and other stuff. If anyone's like, "Hey, we should play," like there's this thing happening, she's like, "No."
Yeah, she gets it
because you don't know who you're playing with, and that's when injuries happen, and it's dangerous.
It always.
And this is just soccer.
I will never shy away from pickup ball. If I'm gonna get scrapped, I'm gonna get scrapped. I sent you a clip the other day of me whiffing an air ball.
I seen that. That was crazy because I texted him back. No, it was a horrible air ball.
Yeah. Hey, whoa.
I would have told him to shoot it too. I was like, if I was at the game, I would have said, shoot it.
The problem is, man was down low, open under the basket, and I didn't see him. And I was like, glory.
See,
missed it. Terrible.
See, who been with me? I would have had your confidence to the roof. Your first thought would have been shoot it, because I would have passed it to you and be like, hey, shoot that joint.
You hear that, Evan? If you're listening to this, just pass it to me. Come on, bro.
I mean, I'm not gonna act like I was like great at hoops, but I was pretty good. I actually, funny enough, that league that y'all were playing in, I think I played in it a couple years ago with my work team.
In West Covina? Or
it wasn't in West Covina, but they have it was a similar league in somewhere near like Brentwood.
Okay.
So
okay.
It was a LA County, whatever league or whatever you want to call it.
Pickup basketball is dangerous. Pickup sports in general are dangerous.
I was gonna say that
Cat 4 cycling.
Cat 4 cycling is dangerous.
I do not understand like some people who like in the sports that we do, like whatever it is, like how like some people have etiquette, like people. Maybe if you're learning something new, you may not have it all, but you have some type of base level of manners.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand when people like do things and like they're like all over the place. Like if you don't know, just ask somebody. Like because that's how I am in cycling. So like how I learned so fast. Because a lot of my peers around me who obviously not as good as you guys are at cycling, but.
It's not good.
Don't put us on that pedestal.
Like, how did I get good so fast? It was like, I rode more, and I asked like a ton of questions with the people I was riding with, because like the only way you're gonna know something is if you ask. If you aren't gonna figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have to be curious. I love that. Yeah. No, I mean, absolutely. People have a lot to learn. Sometimes people are just unaware, and they're just like, yeah, cool. I can do this, or I'm fine. And I've helped lead a lot of rides, and I want to help support in like a non-pressurizing or non-intimidating way. But I think it's good to remember that we've all been there. Even if you've been riding since you were 3 or 4, or since you can walk, we've all been there at some point, and most of us are probably picking up cycling again as adults. So yeah, I like that. Be curious.
Cycling is a great sport where you can just always surprise yourself. Like, you know where your limit is when you're playing pickup basketball or pickup soccer. You know, I'm never going to try and juke somebody out on the football field. You know, it's not happening.
That's your thing.
But like on a bike, it's like, oh, you know what? I feel really good today. I might be able to do better than I did last time. And you could have that thought anytime on the bike. It's really nice. You know, you can take it chiller. You can take it faster.
But also have etiquette and don't.
Yeah. Don't be all over the place. Know your limit of, like, especially if you're descending or,
Exactly.
you know, you're in a pack.
You know.
Yeah.
See, I was riding with him the other day. He was flying all down there. I said, hey, brother, it's wet outside. I ain't,
We did ride in the rain together.
Like, I'm a chill, brother. I'm a chill. I see you, and I'm going to catch up, but I'm not going to go as fast as you can go because I have not ridden in wet conditions as many times as we have. That had been maybe my second or third time.
Yeah.
He's probably
You
done
sure
it
enough?
dozens.
No, I mean,
We weren't even going that fast.
Yeah,
That's the thing about it.
we were descending what you normally climb on the ponies ride, the, you know, trash truck side of Griffith Park, which you still haven't done.
Yeah, I'm nodding like, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, you still got to come out and do it.
Yeah.
Tease has been waking up to do ponies. I haven't. My apologies to all my family out there. I'm just not showing up. My apologies. But I usually, since I live right at the bottom of Ferndale, I just climb up and over. And we were going to go to a group ride. Actually, we just did a route together. Like, I love taco. I love the taco route. And we rode together. I showed him the way I get to it. And it was just a random gloomy ass day. Like, it was like 55. I was wearing a white jersey. I was covered in mud. I was like, what the hell is going on? It's terrible. That jersey's, it's not ruined, but it's like covered in pock marks now. Yeah, exactly. But I was descending the trash truck side real fast, and Martise was like, see you later. And then that same weekend, we went and did the actual, like, we did the same route to get to the group ride.
Yeah.
And he flew past me. He was like, you see, I can actually do it. I'm like, yes, you can. I did not doubt you for a second.
I learned something, and that's also, like, I'm enjoying, too, about cycling. Is like, I'm learning, like, I just learned a new concept of counter steering. Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew I could lean myself on another part of my bike as I'm descending down a hill? Like, you know, and I don't really care to go faster, but I know it's going to make me safer. You know what I mean? So,
How did you learn that? Did someone else tell you about it, or did you watch a video, or like
my
you just
algorithm on
try?
Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Love the internet. Gotta love the internet.
Like, you know, my Instagram knows what I want to see. Like, everything that I watch on Instagram is about being fly and being informative. Like, I don't really too much pay attention to my phone a whole lot. Like, I get on my phone to, like, laugh and, like, if I'm trying to learn something or, like, if I'm, you know, need to get inspired, like, creatively. Like, I don't really too much you know, worry about things that I don't care about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my algorithm is really focused in that. So it came up on a guy and he was just like, yo, like, when you're descending, you want to, you know, get this idea of counter steering. I don't know who the guy was, but he coaches for educational,
Like
EF, education first.
Exactly. He's a coach for them, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And he's like, yeah, and it's going to keep you safe. I was like, double whammy. I love this.
Yeah.
So
Someone else that's really good at those small little social media snippets is a guy called Derek Teal. His Instagram's Dialed Health, and he's actually like a strength and conditioning coach himself, and he has a business. He has his own podcast, but he does really good short form content that's like, hey, are you a cyclist? Do you need to work on your core, work on your stability, or work on your recovery, or strength and conditioning specifically for cyclists? And they're like really effective. I watch them quite a lot, but I should do like the things.
yeah,
more.
I have like 15 of his videos saved.
I need
Yeah.
to.
In general.
I need to go check that out.
Yeah, I'll link
Yeah.
them down below, and I'll send you them.
Check that out.
Yeah, he's good.
We're talking a lot about like learning about the sport and like how unsafe it can be. And going back to like professional athletics in general, there's a lot of pro athletes in different sports, like in football, basketball, soccer, who actually do participate in cycling, right? Tons of them.
Tons.
There seems to be more and more every time I look at Instagram.
That's exactly what I'm trying to like capitalize on.
Yeah.
In the cycling space, there's a ton of. I just learned of another one yesterday. Reggie Miller.
Yeah?
He's huge.
Please don't talk about Reggie around me.
Yeah.
Please don't talk about Reggie around me. You see what I'm wearing right
but
now?
the Knicks are gonna fight back. Trust me. The Knicks
my
are
God.
just like I expect them to be.
That's why I'm wearing this.
Dramatic.
That's why I'm wearing this. I went on a little rant last time. I'm gonna go on a rant again later, but
Like, we should
You guys
go-
are good.
you know, as it is, Reggie is a fantastic mountain biker. But,
I bet he's skinny as hell.
yeah, but he's just fearless. I mean, he's an athlete,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, Reggie's a dog. He's
but
like
he's a retired pro basketball player. I feel like there's a lot of current pro athletes who necessarily can't speak on the fact that they ride bikes because they might get them. LeBron does.
LeBron is one who he's been riding on a bike. I don't think he necessarily like kits up, but he's been riding bikes for like long distances for a long time. Like at one point he used to ride his bike to Cavaliers games.
Oh yeah.
Like, Draymond Green is another person who is really good at riding bikes. His bike,
Very.
by the way, is freaking huge. Cause I'm like,
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm like,
6'7", right? He's a big dude.
6'7". I'm like, this bike is too big.
Yeah.
What athlete that maybe doesn't ride a bike right now would you love to see on a bike?
I'd like to go on a bike ride with. That's a good question. That's a very good question. If I can go on a bike ride with somebody, maybe Michael Vick,
Okay.
Interesting.
because I loved Michael Vick growing up. Or actually, this is perfect. Allen Iverson. This is exactly who I would want to go ride a bike with.
5'11", skinny as hell.
He was my first exposure to like swag in
Yeah.
sports, and I excelled more in football growing up. So like I was like, well, I could just apply the same shit that he's doing in basketball to football, and he was everything like I wanted to be. Like so, like
He was a
growing up-
footballer too, though.
Exactly, and I ended up learning that like as I got older, like he was like a dog
quarterback.
in New Jersey. Like he could have played Division when I saw some of his highlight tapes. I was like, man, who would have knew?
Yeah.
But yeah, if I could ride a bike with anybody who I'm not familiar who rides bikes, I would be AI.
Okay.
I don't think he'd be good. Go ahead.
It's funny.
It's half the fun though.
Yeah.
I feel like point guards, like legendary point guards, are probably all really built to be fantastic cyclists. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking Steph Curry.
Yeah, Steph Curry.
Steph Curry for sure.
He was also born in Akron, by the way. In fact, check
True.
that.
Same hospital
Yeah,
as
same
LeBron,
hospital.
right?
There's something in our water.
I think Steph Curry would have swag on a bike.
Oh, for sure. Who else? Like,
No, okay. Well, that's what I think. Someone that I have noticed getting into cycling in the last year, and I really want to go for a bike ride with, is Tobin Heath. It's actually her birthday today. Shout out. So she is a professional soccer player. She's not playing
familiar.
at the minute, but she's like U.S. Women's National Team. She played for Arsenal.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
Very talented. And her wife plays, I think it's her wife, plays for Angel City.
Yeah.
And she started getting into cycling. She's got a couple of Canyon bikes. She's got the Zwift bike. And I've seen her post on trails, and I really want to go for a ride with her because I think I just want to share something that I enjoy with her
Yes.
and just experience that, especially as she's getting into it. So if anyone can make that happen, let me know. But yeah, I would love to see her on a group ride or just let's go for a ride.
fair. You know what? I'm going to take back my Steph Curry comment. I want to ride a bike with Kyrie.
That's a good one. That's a good
Kyrie,
one.
I think, will be cool to have a chat with on a bike because he looks like he's built for it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be built to ride a bike.
Right.
Like Ray Lewis rides a bike.
Right, exactly.
You know, Michael Strahan rides a bike.
The more you ride a bike, you can kind of like, you know, you guys know, you can like kind of morph yourself in riding, you know, riding form.
Yeah.
You know, well enough.
You don't have to look like one of the traditional European world tour guys to be able to ride a bike really well. Is the other thing. So athletes in general it's a benefit to be riding bikes.
Exactly.
But I feel like a lot of managers and team contracts kind of prevent you from publicly revealing that because it's like viewed as a very dangerous sport because you can, if you mess up, and it can get pretty gnarly.
Every sport's like that.
Yeah, like Kelly Oubre, I think there when he was on Philly.
Yeah.
I think he either got into like a little fracas with a Philly driver, or he was at a mountain bike.
That's what they say.
Something like that, right?
That's what they say.
But
I know.
Who knows what it really was?
It's only Kelly.
No, I'm joking.
A couple of the F1 drivers are really into cycling, and because they often live in Monaco, and that's also where Tadej Pogacar lives. So I say,
Carlos Sainz.
Oh, it's
he just
cool.
went riding with Tadej. I love that crossover in sport. Last weekend it was the women's.
Monaco.
Well, Monaco, yes, but then also the women's Champions League final.
Yeah.
Arsenal were playing Barcelona, and Demi Vollering went to watch that game, and she put out a post saying it was her first football game that she'd ever been to. And that was really cool to see that crossover. And obviously she got invited and whatever, but it was cool to see that crossover, especially because Tobin had been to the Tour de France, was mingling with, I think it was the Canyon SRAM team. I want to see more of that. I want to see Demi Vollering playing football.
Either or, I'll take either.
Aren't the Dutch also really good at football?
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
As a Brit, you can't say. I'm excited for the World Cup to be in the United States, right? Is that
Yeah,
is that how it's going?
2026
Yeah.
next year.
They're playing are they playing just all around the country, right? It's not
Yeah,
just
and
going to be at
Mexico.
one stadium.
And Mexico and Canada, I think.
So it's World Cup North America. Is this a new format? What is this?
I think
Isn't it normally just one nation, one stadium?
I have no idea, but like, ideally, I'm thinking again. I have no clue, but I couldn't imagine there's one place in America where you could have everybody playing in the World Cup for an extended period of time. We don't have a place big enough.
Or it's just too far apart. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
we
were just talking about SoFi. SoFi is right there. The Coliseum is right there, and then
but you need other stadiums.
Yeah, you need way more.
All too spread apart.
Yeah, those games would take forever.
But then you
wait to play.
But you also have BMO. You have
BMO is too small, I think, for the World Cup.
It's the World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm just
want to go to the World Cup.
The World Cup final is in the Red Bull Stadium in New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey, Rutherford, Meadowlands.
Yeah. I'm Team England, so
yeah.
see you there.
Shout out to Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Yeah, my uncle also is a part of the rest of that team as well. So
that's cool.
They just won the title in England.
Nice.
What's the league? Premier League?
The Premier League, yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I watch them, but sometimes, I'll be honest, I like soccer, but the games just take too long.
Yeah, but they're all action.
I love and I agree. It is all action. It's constant action, but at least with baseball, which is kind of in my mind is a similar sport because it's slow in that way. At least in baseball, I don't gotta keep looking at the same person. All right, he either gonna strike out or whatever.
It's always shifting.
Yeah, it's gonna shift.
New.
It's man, I know they about to score, but they ain't scored yet. Y'all got me on the edge of the seat. Can y'all score so I can either get excited or just not be I'm just come on So that's why with soccer I'd be man, come on, I gotta watch something else.
We should go to an Angel City game.
I would definitely
feel
go.
I've talked about this with every single podcast guest we've had on.
I love soccer games.
It's a good vibe. Good
Yeah,
vibe.
I love going to soccer games. They're fun.
I'd rather risk playing it than watch. I think personally.
You just got to get involved. You got to get a couple of beers.
Yeah, this is true.
It is.
Does Angel City have their own beer?
There is a brewery that did some limited edition beers for them. I think it's called Party Beer.
Are they the ones that also do the Dodgers beer and everything? It might be, right?
There is also a brewery called Angel City Brewing. The name Angel City is...
That's an arts district, isn't it?
Yeah, but different to the football team.
Yes.
A question I had was, do you race at all, or do you just enjoy riding your bike, exploring LA, and pushing yourself when the moment comes?
Yeah, I just enjoy riding. People keep telling me to race and join teams, but it's I think about it, but it's I'm more in it for the community of it, the lifestyle of it, and also, I'm an all-in type of guy, and I want to work and make money. So working is my priority, and I'm not like knocking anybody who doesn't. It's just like for me, I rather find something where I can do both.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. So
looking for work in the bike industry.
well, yeah, well, like everything is working out. I have. It's not about the money for me. It's just like I want to be doing something that I'm happy doing. Because I know I'm going to make money. I've always made money my whole life, so I'm not really worried about that. It's more about something making sense and it, being fulfilling.
Just trying to keep it fun. I think that's like
keep it fun.
the important.
Racing is like a lot of pressure. And I know if I was going to race, like I'm going to be all in, and I can't apply. I can't be 50-50. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To be a professional cyclist at the domestic level, let alone at the pro world tour level, you don't make much money doing that.
Right.
Especially if you aren't winning. Even if you because only one person can win a bike race, and then when you win that bike race, if you're on a team, you're sharing those earnings with everybody around you.
Whoa, this is something I just learned. You said they split in the pot.
They do split the pot. Yeah, some of them. It depends on like your role. It depends on the team that you participate on. Because like, there's not a lot of money, so to speak, in the actual sport of it. There's investment and there's races with big prize money.
Gotcha.
But we were talking about how big of a team it is, right? Like it's 20 people on a proper, fully decked out team, and all like you got to pay for everything.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You buy your own bike. Usually they're not always given to you.
Yeah.
You maintain it on your own if you don't have like a team mechanic to always be running to your place, or you're not all central. You're paying for your own travel.
Yeah, and I think in the US, because it's such a big place, it's like, cool, you're racing in Atlanta one week, in Chicago the next, and then wherever else the week after. That is also a big part of racing to that people.
I got you.
Maybe not as bad.
Here's my thing with cycling. I never claim to be the fastest.
Yeah.
I just claim to be the flyest. Like I don't really, it's like that's not my thing. Like I enjoy riding with people and being fly on the bike. I'm passionate about people that way. So like cycling just happens to be that vehicle for me to do it, and I enjoy doing it. So like I'm not necessarily like, if I know a guy's faster than me, like of course I'm going to push myself, and of course I want to be faster and grow and develop, but like
take your time to find that.
If I ride with you, Patrick, a million times and I never can like keep pace with you, I'm gonna have just as much fun as if I could. Like
I love that. I love hearing that.
Really, like,
that's reassuring.
I'm not gonna like, because I've talked to people, like when I hear people, who race or used to race or whatever, I hear about the pressure they put on themselves. I'm like, I come from a world where real pressure is a thing, and it ain't about a bike and being faster than somebody. So like, just, relax a little bit, and of course, always try to be the best. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah. But like in a world like you just explained, like in a world where it's not like this is hoops or football or baseball or soccer or tennis or one of those things that like, you
can have that individual glory.
Yeah, exactly. And not even that. It's just like where you can clearly see you making some real money. People put all this pressure on themselves, and they seem like sometimes are unhappy. Like I've talked to some people on the bike, and I'd be like, man, do you even want to be out here?
Yeah.
Like it's like you complaining a lot. Like turn the computer off if like you keep talking about watching. That doesn't happen a lot. It's only happened like once or twice.
Do you have a power meter?
I do have a power meter. I enjoy that because I want to know. I want to get faster. I want to get better, and I'm interested in all those things. But I do that on my own time.
Yeah.
Like when I'm out in the world, which, funny enough, I'd say I'm about 50-50 now. Like 50-50 in the sense of riding with groups and riding alone, like during the week. So, I have perfect balance, I would say. Like I have just enough amount of riding with people and just hanging out, doing whatever we're doing, and the power be. I mean, I came home one time and that shit said 87. I said, we wasn't going nowhere.
Just cruising.
But like, I like to keep my power in the, the 200. So I also get those days too, and it's like it's a perfect balance. And like I'm never gonna, when I invite people to ride with me, or if I go ride with somebody, I'm never like trying to like, my intention is to beat them or like be super fast or whatever. Like, you know, if you want to ride fast, then fine, we can ride fast. But like I'm not, you know,
just riding.
Yeah, like I'm like in a group, like that's not what I want. Like, you know what I mean?
We've had conversations while riding about how bikes are more for you about the zen and finding that like mental health space.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, that kind of history for you? Like,
yeah, so before the bike, I had a lot of mental health stuff going on. I didn't have any other way to kind of like escape it, and I would say I was handling things in a more negative way. Let's just say that. But once I started getting on the bike and having fun, I realized not only was it good for me, but I realized what I was able to do for like other people. Cause like, you know, I start meeting random people. Like, I don't know what it is. Like I was meeting like random people out in Santa Monica that were like having bad days, whether they were on a bike or not. I was able to like be out in the world and connect with people and kind of like help people in that way. And, you know, ever since then, like, I just always find an excuse, I call it an excuse to get on the bike, because I may see somebody at a coffee shop and open the door for them when they're walking in the coffee shop, and that may be something that nobody's ever done for them. Like, they may just be having a bad day, whatever it is, whatever minuscule thing I can do to, like, you know, help somebody or change somebody's day, because I know how hard life can be. I try to do that, and the bike enables me to do that by letting me go different places in the world by just two wheels.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
you see a lot on two wheels. You see a lot of bad, but you also get to put yourself in a really good headspace if you're enjoying
Exactly.
it.
And for me, yeah, like I need that to think through my things that I go through, what I'm thinking in my life, and just being on the bike, hearing those ambient sounds sometimes is enough to, like, you know, get it all together. So yeah, I encourage everybody to do that more instead of, but what do you guys call it, training?
Yeah.
Like, was there somebody
Training.
tell me the other day they train? I was like, what training? Go to work. They're like, by the way, I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking nobody to do. I'm like, what are you gonna?
Sometimes the training can put you in that headspace where, you know, if you're not overworking yourself, whereas like, I feel successful, I feel good pushing this,
Yeah.
you know. I think that actually kind of moves us into the Staples part of this. You know, that was the From Downtown segment. That was
Yeah.
quite a long talk about how we feel about the industry and things going on and all that. But let's actually talk about what we've been riding. Like, I think last weekend, the three of us were actually all in the same place, but not in the same time, not at the same time. And you guys ran into each other, and I ran into you, but I didn't run into you.
But
Yeah.
we ran into each other on a different day than we ran into.
Oh, that was a different day? Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Okay, gotcha.
I think,
All right,
They-
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We beat Frank Gate.
Well, look, we're all here together. And that's cool. Lucy, you've been doing some riding. The west side of riding has been opened up again after the
Yeah.
fires in some ways.
sort of.
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, I rode Sullivan and West Ridge, the gravel section, for the first time since the fires, first time this year. And it's technically maybe still closed. There are still signs there, but I know people have been riding it for months. So I'm not telling anyone to ride it or not, but I rode it. It was fine. Saw plenty of other cyclists out. And it was sad because literally you turn onto Sullivan, the trail there, and there's a shell of a house. And there's all the regrowth, which is, yeah, I don't know. It was definitely eerie and sad, but also very beautiful in a weird way. And it just felt so good to get back on the trails that is normally such like a kind of safe and calming and therapeutic place for me. Like, it still blows my mind that those trails are so close to where I live, and it's such like a blessing and such a thing I'm really grateful for. The fact that you can live in LA, in this place full of so many people and so many things happening all at the same time, but then be so close to nature and so close to just such a different space. So yeah, it was really special to get back out covered in dust. And yeah, it was cool. Do you ride gravel? Or just
No, but I'm gonna get a gravel bike.
yeah,
I'm going to.
let's go.
I want to get on it because it just looks so fun.
It is so fun. Thankfully, I haven't really had that many situations with cars in LA, but I know they happen, and LA is a bad place for cars. But gravel is so good because it's mostly just you, maybe some other gravel riders, but there's no cars. You don't have to worry about the traffic lights and the cars and bike lanes or not bike lanes. I'm excited for you. Let's go riding.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get one from Luft maybe.
Yeah.
Luft. Giant Sunday cycles from Elon and Ridley.
Yeah.
Two. Yeah.
Both are great places, but also can highly recommend a Black Heart.
Oh,
Sponsored.
yeah, I know. I've seen. It's funny
Sponsored.
enough. I seen. There's a black and yellow one.
A black heart?
At Luft.
Yeah.
They come in all different colors.
You can pick whatever colors you want. You can get that purple and pink.
I think I want to go scarlet and gray, like Ohio State Buckeyes. I want to get one of those just so just for shits and gigs because that's
Love that.
cool.
Yeah.
New bike days abound. Lucy, you might have a little new bike day coming, right?
Yeah, I think so.
yeah?
I have.
Teasing it a little bit, but
I can't say too much right now.
we'll post about it on the Other Side
Can't wait.
podcast
I
Instagram when
love
we get.
seeing people get new bikes. I was so excited when I seen your bike. I'm gonna be super excited when I see your bike.
Yeah.
This maybe when the podcast comes out next week, I will have it in my possession. I have the tracking for it. It should be with me early next week. If you've listened to other episodes, you're gonna be so excited for me, or I hope you're gonna be so excited. Are you excited for me, Patrick?
I'm excited to know when mine is coming.
Oh, you get a new bike too?
Not necessarily. I don't know, but I should.
Could be.
I mean,
But we'll
let's
see.
talk about it, Lucy. Like,
Could be.
where is it? Where? Come on now.
Where is my bike?
Where is my bike?
Yeah. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
That kind of goes back to our roots a little bit. That one, just thinking about it. But I've gone back to my roots on the bike. The homie Evan, shout out Coffee Shops with Ev. He was kind enough to. He knows that I don't be driving anymore, so he's like, if you want a beater bike to get around town, he was like, you still know how to ride track bikes, right? And I'm like, maybe.
We'll find out, I guess.
So I pulled up today on a Mercier Kilo TT. If you're familiar with track bikes and how people used to get into riding in the first place, track bike was the way to go. It was the cheapest thing. You can get it for $250, and it's actually real nice.
It's very pretty.
Yeah,
It's like burgundy,
Yeah.
little sparkle.
not exactly scarlet like you're thinking, but it's a little bit of a darker,
it's
burgundy
nice.
red. It's got a nice glitter to it,
Yeah.
with some chrome bits.
I saw that thing. Looks kind of like the bike Debo rode on Friday. But yeah, obviously he rode a different bike, but the same color.
That's one of my favorite movies. I don't know.
I fully respect cycling track routes. However, I do think you should fit a brake to it because
Yes.
LA is.
You have to
is
put brakes on.
hilly, and
I'm not
even just
taking that
one-
on any
even
hills.
Just one to use in an emergency.
Yeah, but because you can't account for other people on the
Yeah,
road.
I don't
you
want
know
you to
what other
hurt
people are
yourself.
gonna do.
I'm gonna put a poll in here. A nice track bike, an aggressive track bike with track drops. Am I gonna put a brake on it or not?
It's one.
Just one brake,
one.
just for the front.
I do have one, but I purposely took it off the minute I got it.
Crazy work.
Okay, stay tuned to see what happens.
I've got clipless pedals on it. It's a gear ratio I'm not that familiar with. We're making it work.
Cool. I'm happy for you.
I just wanted a bike where I could actually ride around in normal people clothes. Like, because last week I pulled up to the podcast and I was wearing normal people clothes, but I was riding the road bike, and that, for some reason, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, casuals on a road bike, of course you can do it. Like, I do bibs and a t-shirt all the time, but like jeans and a t-shirt on a road bike feels sacrilegious, especially if you're still clipping in.
Yeah.
Like,
so when you put it, I was like, whoa, that was nuts.
no brakes.
But no, I get you.
Get it to a stop.
Yeah, no, I get you. That makes a lot of sense, though. When you put it that way,
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
And
But I don't have flat pedals on it right now, though. I am clipping in, so it does still feel a little weird.
Yeah.
I would like to put flat pedals and straps on it because I'd be a lot more confident. I think brakeless flat pedals and straps definitely more my thing. If I stay with the clipless pedals, maybe you'll see me put the brake back on.
Maybe you can pick something up at the LA Invitational this weekend.
Yeah.
There's like, do you know the Cup House? The bike shop? Amazing bike shop in Pasadena.
South San Marino, South Pasadena.
It's called the Cup House. Or the Instagram is It's Not a Bike Shop, right?
Okay.
And it's a very cool place owned by a super nice guy, and they make their own kit as well, and they have their own bikes, but they also have, it's just a very interesting, so go check it out.
Yeah,
this weekend, they're having an event, and it's like a gravel ride on the Saturday, 3 different types, like 3 different routes. And then on the Sunday, they have a car and bike show. So they shut down the street outside, all different class of bikes.
Be going there.
The LA Bike Academy women's team are doing bike washes. So if you need your bike washed, they'll sort you out. And then there's also a swap meet. So people will be bringing their things to sell. So
I will be there.
stuff.
I will be selling wheels, shoes, components, bikes.
And maybe you
will
can
have a
pick up
booth.
some straps and pedals and stuff.
I will be there booth up.
This will be nice. This will be nice.
Yeah.
It will have happened by the time this episode goes out.
Yeah. If you missed out, you missed out.
Yeah.
Everyone was invited.
See if
I
I
should
get
have-
some homies to pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be cool.
I should have bought some stuff for you to sell for me.
Let me know. If you bought any of our stuff, thank you. Thank you.
You know what I need to
If
get?
you didn't, get lost.
I need to get one of those. Ever since we had that conversation about a computer, every time I look at my mines, I just want to throw like.
What computer do you have?
What do you have?
Well, I have the Hammerhead Karoo. The new Karoo is my favorite computer to use.
I have freaking Garmin. But it's fine. But I love it because it's fine. But it's like ever since I've seen it, I'm like,
The new Wahoo is pretty nice, I have to say.
I'm not
I've
sold.
seen- I
I'm
like
not
the
sold on the
design.
UX. I'm not sold on the UX.
I love
nice.
the design.
Yeah, I got mine last week, and I had the first ride on it on the weekend, and actually 2 rides. Very impressed. Yeah.
I've actually been hearing good things about it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Mm.
I need to meet the guy or talk to the guy that you know.
I'm the guy for you to know.
Oh, okay, perfect. This works. Also, this is something I've been actually meaning to ask you. I came to this podcast with one question only.
Oh no.
How do you guys feel about the heart rate monitors?
Oh, that's a great question.
Like, what's your 2 opinions on it?
Like whether they should be used or just,
How do you feel when you see people on a group ride with them on?
well, I think it's fine. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you can't tell if someone's wearing them or not. I sometimes wear mine and sometimes don't.
Yeah.
Do I look at the numbers? Not really. It's more like if I remember to wear it sometimes. And I I think when I'm like, yeah, I'll wear it, it's more, so maybe I can look back at the numbers, but I don't really look back at the numbers. But that's just me. Like, I don't really ride aggressively or competitively. But Patrick maybe has a different answer. I do find it difficult though. Heart rate monitors and sports bras are sometimes very complicated depending on the sports bra. Garmin maybe came out with one a couple of years ago that was meant to clip onto your sports bra because it's complicated. And that's, bigger discussion, but that's my opinion.
For me, I don't wear one at all anymore because I'm not training per se. I am looking to improve on the bike all the time, and that for me, that is one of the reasons that is one of the things that drives me. And heart rate monitors actually are a really great training tool if you care at all about that. For people who are looking for a way to look back on their training and see the trends of how their workouts are fatiguing them and how like the input, if you're getting coached, you absolutely should have a heart rate monitor. You can't be training without one. For me personally, I use the Polar heart rate monitor. I found it's the most reliable. It doesn't conflict with any sponsorships or anything like that. And it's really consistent. You can use it for running as well. Some people use the one from Coros. That's an armband version. And the armband one is, I think, is less constrictive of breathing. Similar to your problem with it with the sports bra. For me, if I have it, you want it set up tight so it doesn't sag on your body. It'll just be too tight and constrict me from doing my efforts fully because I just don't feel comfortable breathing with it. You get used to it. But it can also be a great tool it's the reason some people wear Whoops or they wear their Apple Watch while they're training.
Get an Apple Watch. That's it.
It'll stay on your wrist, and you'll be able to look back and see whether or not like the trend is that you're getting more fatigued or you're overtraining. It's a better gauge for whether or not you're about to get sick. That's part of it. Like, you don't want to overtrain if you have goals, right? You want to be able to reach those goals, because overtraining definitely pushes those goals way further back. Mm-hmm. So heart rate is a great way to tell how good you are at recovering. It's great to tell like how you respond to an effort. Like, let's say you're doing intervals, right? Classic intervals, 3 by 10 minutes at your like just under threshold. You don't want to get into that threshold zone. You also have zones for power and you have zones for heart rate, and you want to see like there's different goals, right? You want to see how high you can get your heart rate in that tempo zone, and how fast it goes back down. So there's reasons to use it for training, and there's reasons not to. But if you are getting coached 100%, you should be wearing a heart rate monitor. If you're not, who cares? If you just want to see, like if you're going to get sick or not, fine, throw it on. It's not a bad tool. Apple Watch is a great thing. Some people will pay for the Whoop subscription. That's cool too.
I've seen people with all types of knickknacks and patty racks. I was like,
yeah, I've seen some people with like a full like they're iced up.
I was like, ooh wee, you a bad man? Shut your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. I've been doing a lot of riding recently. Speaking of getting better, but I also haven't been doing a lot of riding at the same time because I lifted and I did some Bulgarian split squats.
You telling me?
Yeah, and my left knee was feeling some type of way afterwards because you go to free weights too quick, you overload a little too quick, you snap up a little too quick, and you that's gonna mess you up a little bit.
Rookie.
Yeah, rookie mistakes. I haven't lifted in a long time. Cut me some slack. But with that bum knee, that route that we did, Taco, my favorite group ride, I'll keep saying it. I did it solo one day last week, and I took the KOM.
I seen that.
Yeah, I took the fastest time on the provisional segment. It's absolutely meaningless, and all my friends who also do the ride can 100% take that away from me at any given time. And I feel like I started a war, or maybe I will be starting a war this summer. We'll see. I don't.
Putting it on record so people then go out and take it.
Yeah,
exactly. You put it on wax now.
Yeah, when people do decide to do it, just know I predicted it. I knew it was gonna happen. I could go faster. I dropped my chain on it because I shifted like a dummy, but I still had the time. I still made it, but I've been resting a little bit. So my knee is a little, it wasn't that great during hoops the other day. I'm gonna blame my knee for why I airballed that shot.
Whatever makes you feel better.
Maybe riding a fixie track bike fixed gear will not help with that either.
No, it absolutely won't, because when you skid, you're putting so much force down to like stop it. It's not like coaster braking. You have to consciously like pop back. So, it's like doing a Bulgarian split squat. The same thing. But anyway. Tease, what have you been doing on the bike? You been riding?
She's been riding. I'm up to, I like when I was at my peak before I broke my ankle, man, it's like a KD injury, like for the Achilles.
Yeah.
I like to get over 200, like 225, maybe 250 a week.
That's a lot.
Miles?
Yeah, miles. Now I'm around like 125, 150-ish.
That's still a lot.
Which is, it's decent. It's okay, but like, it's kind of a lot, but like, I would like it to be more.
Yeah.
I like to go on more group rides.
When did you break your ankle?
I broke my ankle December 2023.
Yeah.
So I started 2024.
A couple months after we met then.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. Right when I met you was when I was getting into cycling,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a lot.
That's tough.
Then I broke my ankle and I was sick.
How did it happen?
Just broke it, jumping around, doing too much. Thought I was young.
Yeah.
Thought I was young still. I came right back. I was out until like May of last year, somewhere around that time. Then I, got back in the saddle. Everything's been everything. So now just been cycling, trying to find my niche in the community. Find a way to, bring people together. In the future, I'm definitely gonna start with Pacific Town Club and, others are gonna be hosting rides for sure. For people who just want to ride, hang out.
That day that you guys met, you were riding with Sadiq, right?
Yes, I was riding with Sadiq. My homeboy Kenny. He does the brand partnerships there. Might have been just us. No, was it us and was it me and two other people? I can't remember what was it.
There was a lot going on. In
Exactly.
That moment, but
Who knows? But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just it was me and my two bros.
I felt really bad because last week you messaged me on Instagram. You replied back to my story as promoting the MAP women's ride that happened at Luft last weekend. And you were like, can I come? And I was like, I'm so sorry, but this is for women and people that identify as female only.
Yeah.
But there will be others, I'm sure.
Yeah. Funny enough, not because funny enough, I had to deliver the same message to them because they were like, oh, like they're doing a group. I'm like, you don't notice that there's no dudes over there? They're like, oh, I didn't even look. I'm like, yeah. I used the same thing. But yeah, no, I think that's cool. Sometimes you can do that because, like, some things for the girls, which I think cycling is a big enough space for everybody to kind of like cater to, at times. I think there's times for all that. I think all that stuff is important because, like, everybody, although we're all on the bike, everybody's experience isn't the same. And, like, even though everybody experience may be the same as far as life goes, everybody's going through different things. And, like, people are entitled to connect and bring people together in the grace of cycling however they want. That's what it's for.
Craft the safest space possible for, the people that you want to connect with. And then once everyone's comfortable, feel like you're at an equal space, then, start to integrate things. And
Exactly.
There will absolutely be other rides from Luft that are not women specific. There will be harder rides and easy rides and whatever else rides.
if you're going to be getting a gravel bike,
Yeah.
Luft is doing their little dirt series again. It's coming back.
Starting tonight.
It's Luft.
Yeah, well, Luft.
You can say it however you want.
I'm
That
gonna
is
say
official.
Luft.
You can say it Luft, you can say it Luft. Officially from the people that own Luft, whatever. It's however you want to say it, whatever you feel comfortable.
Kind of like map.
How else would you say map?
No, no. I'm not in that sense. In the sense that I feel like they say it stands every time.
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah,
says
yeah.
something
We've talked
different
about this.
Every time. Like,
I mean, it's adaptable.
Like,
Are you familiar with the cycling concept of Luft?
no, I know the design's cool.
so
Yeah.
it's connected to the cycling caps. The ones that are like,
Got you.
Yeah,
White Man Can't Jump.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Got that.
Podium celebrations when
Okay.
when you win a race, right? You want to represent your
Right.
sponsors. You don't wear a helmet to that, right? Or like
Right.
when you go to a cafe stop, you don't wear a helmet. Obviously,
Right.
you take it off. Actually, I keep my helmet on when I go to a cafe stop.
Me too.
Yeah.
when you're at the podium.
When you're at the podium and you want to show off your sponsors, right? You wear a cap, just like in F1, you wear a
Yeah.
Pirelli champion
Gotcha.
hat, right? The way you wear it says something about you. There's like an etiquette with that. And the most swagged out people will wear it high on their head, lid down, the visor down. And the amount of space off of your head is called the luft of the hat. The luft of the hat.
Okay.
I was trying to do it with my hat, but
It's
I'm not
hard.
wearing a cycling cap, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna work. But you can probably Google Luft cycling caps
Yeah.
or Luft cycling, and the shop will probably turn up. But also maybe some images of
That's
that.
hard.
Yeah.
I find it hard to find good cycling caps these days. The cycling caps of old are kind of like you're wearing. Is that a New Era? Just a snapback with a green
it's
brim.
New Era.
So when you buy a New Era cap there's certain things you want to look for, right? You can get a low profile, you can get a high profile, you get a 49, you get a 59,
Gotcha.
you get a snapback, you can get a fitted, you can get a painter's cap. There's so many different styles of hats, right? With cycling caps, there are a bunch of different styles, and the way that they were made in the past were tall. Like you get a high profile New Era with like the big dome. That's what they used to look like with the small visor. And they don't make them like that anymore. Companies don't make them like that anymore, and it really sucks because I want them to be high up off of my head and fit my big ass head.
Right. Tell
Like
me about it.
all of them are really small and like really tight with a cinch on it, like
I noticed.
That works for me though. I have a tiny head.
But even if you have a tiny head, you can rock the bigger cap, and it'll look
exactly,
better because you have the
exactly,
lift. That's the
exactly.
thing. The swag is there. If you don't if the cap isn't built to be swagged out, cap sucks. And I'm sorry, cycling companies that aren't making swagged out hats, you're missing the point.
Don't worry, I'm gonna fix that. That's why I'm ingraining myself in the community. I'm telling you, I'm about to turn this community.
Should we just partner up to make hats, bro?
Whatever
Let's
we
talk
do,
about it.
Whatever we need to do.
Don't steal this idea, y'all. I swear to God. Lucy, please cut this.
Let's make some other side cycling podcast hats that look cool but also have big luft.
Dodger
Yeah.
Blue? Dodger
Yeah.
Blue cycling cap?
Exactly.
Well, like,
they were
I
like
mean-
those.
I mean, you look at Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson wearing those caps, and it's iconic, right? But those are the Brooklyn, the Gios Torino, the bubblegum caps, right? The Brooklyn bubblegum caps. Nowadays, like, I don't know about wearing cycling caps from pro teams. You know?
I'm not into caps. Honestly, I think you gotta have a hard helmet. Me personally,
Yeah.
like I'm. Come on, man. I'm bringing a whole different. Like I'm here for the people who want to be fresh and fly.
Yeah.
In cycling, and
Yeah.
I'm creating the rules.
Yeah.
that the rules gotta be had. So you don't. The helmet and the shoes don't gotta match.
Yeah.
But you gotta have you gotta have a cool helmet.
Yeah.
You know, and cool for you, by the way.
Yeah.
Not cool for me or what you think is cool. Like, just if you think it's cool, then you got a cool helmet.
Yeah.
That's
I
what-
mean, that's part of, like, wanting to go ride, right? If you
Yes.
wear a helmet that makes you feel doofy,
Yeah,
you're not gonna
have.
go out.
Yeah,
You're not gonna go out and ride in it.
You're
And
right.
it's not gonna be safe.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Because the reason why I bring up like, and I don't want people to see this to think like all I care about is how people look on the bike. My thing is what I know from sports, what I know from somebody who's competed at a high level of some form of sports, that if you don't feel good, you do not play good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's totally true.
I've never, in anything that I've ever competed in, I've never, like, if I didn't feel good for whatever the case that may have been, I just didn't play good. And it's like, you know, when you're out on the bike, you should feel like you want to be out there. Like, it should be an entire experience. You should, like, you know, kind of like when you go out on a date.
Yeah.
Like, you know, your hair looks good. You know, you want to
Smell
have the
good.
right, you want to smell good. You want to have the right clothes on. You want to have nice shoes. Like, kind of
Present yourself well.
And for you, like, I don't care if you rocking. I mean, I don't know where you would get Walmart brand cycling stuff from, because I feel like all this stuff is expensive. So it's like, I don't know where you would go, but like whatever brand that would be, like, so what? If you think it's cool and like you can do it however you want to do it, then go
Yeah.
for it. Like, who cares? Like,
You were rocking a soccer jersey the other day.
yeah, I
on the
thought
bike.
that was
That
so
was so sick.
hard. I thought
Yeah.
that was so hard.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I felt good. I mean, my team just won, but I felt good. I felt
Yeah.
good. No, it's so true. Like, I got some new kit the weekend as well, and I put it on, and I was like, I feel good.
Yeah.
Good.
100%. There's definitely a factor with wanting to put on your best self in all regards. You know,
Right.
it's mental. A lot of it is a mental game.
Exactly.
I feel like we follow each other on Instagram. We talk, and like if I'm lurking on your gram and I see someone commenting me like, "Oh, T's doing the swag," you know, fire emoji, fire
Bro,
emoji, fire emoji.
I've been like, I'm not saying this conceitedly, but like, it's true. I've been fly my entire life, but because I've always been to style, like I like what I like, and you know, I don't care if anybody doesn't like you. I don't care if I feel fly.
If you're conscious of that, right, and you have friends who are looking to you for inspiration, who aren't necessarily in that space, right? Like cycling is one of the most beautiful sports in the world to watch. And there's some athletes who have it, and then there's some athletes who don't.
Exactly.
And it can be defined by
Exactly.
whoever, you know, like your definition of it can change. But I'm looking at right now in the professional world tour, there is a rider who is bringing swag back.
Who?
Oh, yeah?
Who?
I mean, he's super young and he's currently wearing the Malla Rosa.
Okay.
Isaac Del Toro is absolutely the flyest man on a bike right now, anywhere.
What makes him fly, in your opinion?
When he won his first race of the season, he had the zipper undone, not because he wanted to have it undone.
It
Usually,
broke, right?
It broke. Usually, like in cycling, the etiquette is if you're about to win a race and you have a gap on the people behind you and you want to celebrate, do it proper for the sponsors. You tighten all that up and you look tight and you celebrate. You do whatever with your hands. Like sometimes you mess up the celebration. It's like, but you have to have the zipper up so that the sponsors can be represented properly, right? His jersey literally snapped, which says something about the quality of the jersey, I guess. But you're going through all that effort, right? And you break that. He gets fined for that. And it's like, nah, he made that look sick. Like the zipper was undone and he was just at the limit, but he was just like growling. And it was super sick. And then he won stage 17 of the Giro. He's barely 21 years old. I don't even know if he is 21 yet. He's the current leader of the biggest bike race in Italy. And like,
Does it end this Sunday?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Stage 21 should be, because I think today was stage 18.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, he does this like bowing celebration and he crosses the line with a 10-second gap on the people behind. The people behind him are also competing with him for the general classification, like the leader spot, like of the race. And he made it look easy. And like, he's wearing pink. It's hard to pull off pink.
Sounds
right?
like a movie.
Yeah. I mean, you watch that stage. I absolutely.
I'm probably going to go back and watch
You should watch that stage because the way he won was insane. I think a lot of riders on UAE have some finesse and some swag to them, but like, I'm definitely like keying in on the fact that dude looks real good winning a bike race.
Yeah.
You know, like it's inspirational. It makes me want to like flex like that if I ever win a bike race. I'm not, but you know, like having that sort of like, I think the word in the cycling space is it's always been panache. You know, but now it's swag.
You can still channel his energy
Yeah, yeah.
on your fixie.
On my fixie. Ain't no better way to look good on a bike than riding in casuals on a fixie.
It's just sore knee.
Yeah, my sore knee. Cool. Well, we talked a lot just in general. This is going to be a long episode for you to edit, I imagine.
Yeah,
but
this time went by kind of fast. I was looking at the car. I was like, wow.
it's almost 4, huh?
It's 3.
Okay. Well, you know, we're gone long, but we should get into the rapid fire questions. Just some things to get to closing out because we've hit on a lot of really good stuff here.
Yeah.
One of the big questions, the homie Catalina brought this up. What are your favorite songs to ride a bike to? Can you listen to a whole album like straight through on the bike if you put headphones on? And what would that be?
I can listen to the whole Freddie Gibbs album, The Last One Will Only Die Once.
I love
I
Freddie
can listen to that whole album. I can also listen to the last Gunna album, all the way through it.
Yeah. Now that you're following the World Tour of Cycling, Giro, Tour, or the Vuelta, do you know what differentiates them for you? Is there one that you would pick to watch?
I mean, since I'm so new, I mean, they are the same to me. But me personally, I prefer I prefer watching the Giro.
Okay.
Now that I've seen the difference,
Yeah.
just because like, you know, I feel like in the Tour, like there's the people everybody knows, then there's nobody.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Giro, like, it could be anybody today. Like, you know, you don't know who is going to win or who could be the man today. Like, or somebody could have a bad race or somebody could have a really good race.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a little bit more of the unexpected.
yeah, so I appreciate that because then it doesn't seem like, you know, like predictable, I guess. Not that the Tour is predictable, but you know what I'm saying.
Would you prefer to do sunrise rides or sunset rides?
Sunrise rides.
Okay.
Dude, that joint come up.
That's nice.
Like,
it's a nice feeling, right?
Cause like I like getting up early in the morning. You know, the sun's not up. It's a little dewy.
Yeah.
A little chilly.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta have that. Gillette.
Gillette. Well, it's a vest. You know,
Yeah, I would just say vest next time.
it is a vest. Yeah, Gillet is
little-
too European.
Got the vest on,
Gillet.
and then as an hour goes by, when after we have a pastry or a coffee, you know, the sun's coming up. Like,
Yep.
no better feeling.
Take the vest off, throw it in the back pocket.
I love starting my days riding a bike. Actually, I don't have a good day when I don't start my day riding.
Love that.
Favorite place to ride inside of California?
I really love riding to Palos Verdes from Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Me and my uncle and my friends, we call it to the fountain. So I was just bike down the coast.
Down the whole trail.
Yeah,
Martin
no
Brown
sure
Trail.
there's like some fountain down there in Palos Verdes. Turn back around. I love biking anyway, though, honestly. Like, cause again, I'm from a small place. Akron is very, very small, and like, first of all, people aren't riding bikes. There's no bike lanes, so every time I get on a bike and go somewhere, whether I've been there one time or 100 times, it's an experience for me, and I have such a blast. So I don't really care where I ride.
What's your favorite place to ride outside of California?
Back home. I like to ride back home in Akron because like it's like I can see the difference. Like I took my bike back to Akron a year or two ago, and more people there now have bikes
Awesome.
That's awesome.
because like I was riding my bike there and like was posting videos and stuff of me like riding my bike. Now other people have bikes.
That's amazing.
Is there a place that you want to go on your bike that you haven't been to yet? Maybe
Yeah.
not in, like what?
I'm gonna go to the tour next year. I think I'm gonna go to the tour. I'm gonna go to the tour. And you know, God willing, if I got enough bread, I'm gonna go to the Giro too.
Hell yeah.
Italy is.
I want to see these things like up close because I can watch it on the TV all I can, but like I want to hear the bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see how hard are they actually really pedaling out there.
They make it look easy on the TV,
you know what I'm
right?
saying? How many watts are actually being put down?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, wherever I want to go to France, and the Giro is where again?
Italy.
That's what I thought. I just remember I misspeak. I want to go there.
Cool. Who would you want to go on a bike ride with? I know earlier we talked about
Professional athletes.
but is there anyone else in your life, or maybe not in your life, that's just someone else in the world that you would love to just go have a bike ride
No
with?
limit on the imagination here.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. Now, nobody living, but when I eventually go on to have kids, I hope that my kids are interested in riding bikes too, so I can ride bikes with them and teach them all the things that I learned now.
That's so sweet. When you go out for a ride, what's the perfect ride length? What is your goal?
Perfect ride length, like
You just want a nice zen day.
yeah, it's not just if anything better than 30, I did extra credit. If as long as I get 30 to, well, I'm a little greedy, so maybe like 40.
Love it.
So like 40, like if I get to like 35, 40, like that's it. That's a nice day.
For our metric audience, that's about 50 some odd K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best advice for a new cyclist?
Ride with people who are better than you. So you learn how to like ride and, you know, do things, and also ride a lot by yourself because like things are trial and error. Like, you know, I fell off my bike. It only took me twice. I only fell twice, but like, you know, clipping in, like, you know, a lot of people don't know how to do that. Like, obviously that's something that everybody goes through. Good. It's like, you know, you need to do these things by yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get stage fright when you ride with, you know, people who, because it can be intimidating. Like the bikes sound loud, you know, everybody looks like they know what they're doing. You're hearing all these clicking noises. You're hearing all these computers beeping. Like if you, and 9 times out of 10, if you're a new cyclist, you don't have any of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So like do these things by yourself so you learn and get comfortable on the bike, and then go out with people who are better than you and put it all together.
Use 3 words to describe what riding a bike means to you.
3 words?
Yeah, it's hard. This is the least rapid of the rapid fire questions.
Like, 3 words?
Yeah, man.
Happiness, tranquility, freedom.
Those are perfect. Those are huge. I think that's the biggest vocabulary words that we've had so far.
I've never felt more free in the world than like on my bike.
That's beautiful. Well, I think that's a perfect way to end it.
Yeah.
Honestly. We going for a bike ride tomorrow or what?
Yeah, for sure. What are we doing?
Well, that was a great episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah.
Hopefully you all did too.
Yeah. I think we all learned a lot about each other and our sports fandoms a little bit, and, you know, how we approach the idea of, you know, following athletes and pro sports. It was really great to have Tees on as a guest. Honestly, great insight for, you know, for people who aren't looking to ride bikes for, you know, that pushing yourself to the absolute limit. You know, you don't need to suffer on the bike to have a really great time and enjoy yourself. So great perspective from him. Thanks again to Mitch and the How to Drop Your Friends podcast for having us and hosting us once again. We've been here for the last couple of weeks, and we really appreciate everything that Mitch does to make us feel welcome here. So shout out to you, Mitch. We'll put his information in the bio as usual.
Other than that, thank you for tuning in. We'll be putting out episodes hopefully every Wednesday. Probably in a couple weeks, we might have a little season break because I am going to Europe for a little bit. I appreciate everyone listening, tuning in, watching, commenting on social media, all of that sort of thing. If there's anything you want us to talk about, any questions, any guests you want us to include, please get in touch. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And we'll see you very soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.
Peace.